Good evening and welcome to today's NoorNews Bulletin. Tonight, we track the major shakeup in Ukraine's military leadership following days of public unrest, and we bring you the latest on the escalating tensions between Washington and Tehran. Let's head straight to the front lines in Kyiv for our top story. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has dismissed the country's top army commander, Oleksandr Syrsky, following days of mounting public protests. The decision comes amidst significant political fallout triggered by the recent removal of Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov, a figure who held considerable popularity among both the public and the armed forces. According to reports from the BBC, the move to replace Syrsky is being viewed as a direct response to the intense backlash that followed Fedorov's departure, which sparked demonstrations in several major cities. Critics of the administration have expressed concern that these high-level personnel changes could destabilize military operations during a critical phase of the ongoing conflict. While the presidential office has framed the reshuffle as a necessary step for strategic renewal, the sudden nature of the dismissal has raised questions regarding internal cohesion within the Ukrainian leadership. The BBC notes that the government is now facing the difficult task of maintaining public morale while navigating these significant shifts in its military hierarchy. As the situation continues to develop, observers are closely monitoring how the appointment of a successor will be received by both the rank-and-file soldiers and the broader Ukrainian population, who remain deeply divided over the recent administrative overhaul. The United States has launched a fresh wave of airstrikes against targets in Iran, marking the 11th consecutive night of military operations in the region. The escalation follows a direct threat from the U.S. president, who indicated that American forces are prepared to strike a key underground nuclear facility if hostilities continue. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the administration is signaling a shift toward targeting Iran's critical nuclear infrastructure as part of its broader military campaign. These latest strikes have intensified concerns regarding the potential for a wider regional conflict, as international observers monitor the situation for signs of diplomatic de-escalation. While the Pentagon has not provided specific details on the damage caused by the most recent sorties, the threat to nuclear sites represents a significant departure from previous tactical objectives. The Iranian government has yet to issue a formal response to the latest warnings, though state media continues to report on the ongoing defensive measures being taken across the country. As the 11th night of strikes concludes, the international community remains focused on whether these threats will materialize into further direct action against Iran's nuclear program or if back-channel negotiations may still provide a path to stability. The United States has spent approximately $37.5 billion on the ongoing conflict involving Iran, according to testimony provided by Pete Hegseth during a high-stakes congressional hearing. This figure, reported by outlets including the BBC and Al Jazeera, comes as the Pentagon formally requests additional billions in funding to sustain current military operations. The hearing, which served as a critical assessment of the administration's regional strategy, was marked by significant volatility. Proceedings were repeatedly disrupted by demonstrators, leading to a heated shouting match that forced lawmakers to pause the session. The unrest inside the chamber underscores the deepening domestic divide regarding the financial and strategic commitment to the conflict. As the Pentagon pushes for further appropriations, analysts note that the $37.5 billion price tag represents only the direct operational costs identified thus far. The testimony has intensified scrutiny over the long-term fiscal impact of the campaign, as well as the administration's ability to maintain political consensus. With the Pentagon seeking further resources, the debate in Washington is expected to remain contentious, as officials weigh the necessity of continued military engagement against the mounting economic burden and growing public dissent surrounding the war's trajectory. Tensions have flared in the Italian city of Bologna, where protests over the death of a Moroccan-born man in police custody resulted in dozens of injuries. According to the BBC, 42-year-old Abderrahim Fakir died on Sunday while being forcibly restrained by two police officers. Video footage circulating in Italian media shows Fakir, who reportedly suffered from asthma and heart conditions, repeatedly pleading for help and asking the officers to stop. Following the incident, thousands of demonstrators gathered on Monday night to demand justice for Fakir, who had lived in Italy since childhood and operated a local business. While the initial protest remained focused on calls for accountability, the situation escalated when a splinter group clashed with law enforcement throughout the night. Prosecutors have confirmed that 64 police officers sustained injuries during the unrest. Human rights organizations and opposition political parties are now calling for a transparent investigation into the circumstances surrounding the arrest. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has addressed the incident, stating that it is imperative for the truth to be established. Authorities have launched an inquiry into the officers' conduct as the city remains on high alert following the violent confrontations. United States military forces have conducted strikes against Iranian-linked targets and facilities for the 11th consecutive night. These operations represent a sustained escalation in regional military activity, as Washington continues to target infrastructure it claims is utilized by groups aligned with Tehran. According to reports from the BBC and Al Jazeera, the strikes have focused on command and control centers, logistics hubs, and munitions storage sites across multiple locations. While the Pentagon maintains that these actions are intended to deter further regional instability and protect personnel, the frequency of the operations has drawn significant international attention. Analysts suggest that the ongoing campaign reflects a strategic shift in how the U.S. manages its security posture in the Middle East, moving toward a more persistent engagement model. The strikes have prompted concerns regarding the potential for broader regional escalation, though both Washington and Tehran have thus far avoided direct, large-scale confrontation. Local sources cited by Al Jazeera indicate that while the physical damage to the targeted facilities is significant, the long-term impact on the operational capabilities of the groups involved remains a subject of ongoing assessment. The situation remains fluid as military observers monitor for any potential retaliatory measures or shifts in the intensity of the campaign in the coming days. Thank you for joining us for this verified update on today's developing global events. We remain committed to bringing you the facts as they happen. NoorNews, verified before published.